Before we head into the review, this video does have spoilers, and honestly, if you want my spoiler-free review right now, go play it. It is an amazing game, and I highly recommend you play it before watching this video. But anyways, let's get to it. First, we start off the game as Grace, a shy FBI agent who honestly, going into this game, I didn't really expect much, but jeez, I really like the way she plays. Her whole gameplay is more like sneaking and honestly moving around to avoid the enemy rather than going head on. It gives it that Resident Evil 7 and 8 feel, which honestly I feel is great, but also if you do want to switch to third person, they do give you the option for that as well, which I found to be a nice touch. Grace's weapons are honestly more for sneaking, as I stated before. She usually just has a pistol on her, but she can also craft like different types of like attacks, like a sneak attack where it blows up the zombie, or like glass bottles you could throw to distract the zombie. And honestly, that's what I love about her playstyle. It's more strategic thinking rather than rushing in and getting killed, which is the complete opposite to my boy Leon S. Kennedy, who makes his grand return into this game. With Leon, you're kicking everyone, you're shooting everyone, you're not running away from any fights, you are taking all of them head on without a fear in the world. And honestly, who would have guessed this is my favorite part of the game? A little excited there, but you get my point. Leon's gameplay is amazing. It plays a lot like the Resident Evil 4 remake, which, I mean, yeah, it's Leon Kennedy. You're fucking shit up. But that's not the point. He also has different quality of life changes, like his weapon system comes from a crate you get from trackers, which the game encourages you to get kills, which is awesome. You can then use these kills to get points to choose any weapon that fits your own playstyle. Snipers, shotguns, pistols, whatever works. If it fits in your inventory, you'll be able to use it. Speaking of inventories, Grace has such a small inventory in this game, which is fine because she doesn't use a lot of weapons, but Leon on the other hand can carry 5 guns and still have enough for health and the puzzle items, which is crazy. Speaking of the puzzles, there's not that many in the game off the top of my head. This wasn't as difficult as, let's say, I don't know, Resident Evil 2 police station type puzzle. Maybe I just suck, but I found that puzzle really hard. But there only one major puzzle I can think of is escaping the hospital, getting 3 cubes. But besides that, the game was pretty straightforward. There was where you pick up the bomb pieces as Leon, but other than that, the game flows perfectly, and no puzzles are really an issue. The hotel part was very cool, honestly. I felt it was really cool, even though it was short. But hey, I mean, I love the abandoned building vibe, so honestly, that might just be biased, but I thought it was awesome. I like how you get Grace's backstory as well, right after finishing the hotel. It just adds more to the lore that you're supposed to be learning throughout the game, which I thought was pretty nice. Once the hotel portion is done, you move on to the hospital, which I thought was one of the best parts of the game. Like, even though it's in the beginning of the game, I still thought it was really cool. Honestly, probably my second favorite place in the game, but first place is coming up and it's pretty obvious. Anyways, the hospital, or the daycare center, whatever it was called, is a really cool entrance to like the horror of the game, and it really speaks volumes because I'm a big horror fan. But yeah, even in most areas when the light is on, the ambience of the whole hospital just gets quiet and you feel like you're alone, but you know something's lurking. Just walking through the halls and trying to figure out the puzzles in this area, honestly, was a great big first area of the game. Grace's gameplay really shines here because I love the fact that you're constantly sneaking and running away rather than just going head on and fighting the enemies. The other locations where Grace's gameplay really shines is the boiler room and the water plant area. Both of these areas utilize the dark environment aspect of Resident Evil. You have to constantly be moving around while not knowing what's in front of you, only being lit up by a tiny flashlight, which really adds to the horror aspect of the game. But you know me, I don't get jump scared easily. Whoa! What the fuck? Anyways, the next area is my favorite part of the game, the big return to Raccoon City. This is where it all started, and the nostalgia factor hit me like a brick when I first entered this area. Like, I knew I was going into it, but when it finally happened, I was so excited. Oh my god! As you can tell. But anyways, this whole area is honestly amazing. It might just be me because I love the thought of an abandoned city, because growing up I don't know. I always just like I think I mentioned it previously, like the abandoned vibe of things. And honestly, going through this whole section, the first boss here is one to remember. Oh, shit. We'll get to that later. But throughout the whole Raccoon City area, you get to a big part where you have to look for an explosive device. 3 parts are scattered in different BSAA camps, which I thought was pretty cool. And this is where you get the tracker that I mentioned previously, so you know where you can get your better guns and upgrades and body armor, which was a nice touch as well. Just a whole bunch of stuff to do in Raccoon City, and it was just the beginning. At some point, to get one of the pieces, you scale an abandoned building. That's like the most Leon thing ever. Finally, when you get all the pieces, you blow up the gate and Leon rides out on a motorcycle. Then comes one of the best parts of the whole game, in my opinion. The boss fight with Victor Gideon. Side note, Victor Gideon is the one who's causing all this. He's the one that kidnapped Grace in the beginning. I don't think I mentioned that. But this whole fight between Gideon and Leon is straight out of a movie. You're shooting zombie dogs, shooting at Gideon, dodging rocket launchers, dodging collapsing buildings, and at some point, Leon freaking scales an abandoned building. Like, what are you doing? You're pushing 50. The ending to this fight is just awesome too. Both Gideon and Leon rev up, start zooming into each other, and Leon shoots the tank and Gideon just eats shit off the freeway. And I thought that was perfect. And after that amazing fight, it just keeps getting better because Leon is finally back home. Resident Evil 2 police station, baby. I like how when entering the police station, Leon thinks back to Marvin, which I thought was pretty cool callback. And you just get the biggest glimpse of how wrecked this whole place is. Just looking around, you can see everything is still standing. Well, as good as it can be. But you can see the typewriter from Resident Evil 2, the computer. The welcome Leon sign is there. And this is also where we get introduced to Zeno, one of the other antagonists in the game. More on him later, it's kind of lame. But continuing through the police station, you can see everything was still left the way it was before the nuke. You can see the dried blood. You can see the tools Leon used in Resident Evil 2. The puzzle statues are still there, which Leon does make a comment on, which I thought was pretty funny. But once you get through all that, you find where Grace and Zeno are. And this whole cutscene was just awesome. You learn more about what's happening with Grace and what's happening with the Elpis thing that they're trying to release and find. But in comes, bam, the Tyrant. And when I saw him, I was freaking out. This whole fight with him is just awesome. You have to dodge cars while constantly shooting at the red thing on his chest. And bro just runs through and Leon deflects it with his axe. Awesome that you could do this now when you couldn't do it before in the first fight in the other game. But man, this fight was awesome. Once you defeat the Tyrant, you move your way to a one last nostalgia trip, which was the orphanage that Sherry was in Resident Evil 2. Nothing there really, it's just you go through it, that's about it. But I still thought it was pretty cool. After that, you make your way through a freaking floating train that's being used as like a bridge of some sort. And you come across another variant of an enemy we've seen in previous games, like the little plant like things, which I thought was pretty cool. But once you go through them, you make it to the final area of the game, which is the Ark. This is where Zeno and Grace end up after leaving the police station. And you know, I'll keep it small. It's nothing big, nothing major, but it's still a cool area. And yeah, that's my like area analysis, I guess. I spent a lot more time on that than I thought I would, but I mean, there's a lot of detail. I love the level designs and all of these, and I just thought the game did a really good job portraying Raccoon City and, you know, vice versa. Now we'll get on to the bosses. I'll keep it nice and sweet. They're good. What else can I say? They are challenging though. I struggled a lot. I mean, I might just suck, but I don't know. Anyways, the bosses in this game are sweet. You have the Pursuer, I think it's called, the one that chases Grace in the hospital, the boiler room, and finally the water plant, where you defeat it by opening the roof and shooting it in the face and it melts into a pile of goop. That was fun. Also the big one, entering Raccoon City, giant spider. Like, jeez. During this part of my stream, my girlfriend didn't even want to watch. She hates spiders so much. Meanwhile, I'm just playing, enjoying the moment. Like, this is sick. Then there's the Gideon fight on the bike, the Tyrant fight, and then the giant plant fight right before entering the Ark. All those were cool as fuck. Once inside the Ark, one of the last fights you do is with the Commander. And some people actually think he's hung from the other Resident Evil games, which I feel is a great theory. hand-to-hand combat fight with Leon, sneaking around in the smoke. Can't even like get a good shot on him. You have to be just patient and deflect when he's ready to attack, and it's a great fight too. Finally, the final boss, Victor. Wow, shocker. It's not Xeno, which is disappointing. But Victor's fight, again, it's a second fight, but I think it was still pretty cool. He is actually a tyrant. He shows up at the end of the game. You do your little thing first. He powers up with electricity, which I thought was pretty cool. And then once he falls, he rises back up into a tentacle monster tyrant thing. You just gotta shoot some bubbles. Once he's defeated, Leon aura farms, of course, which I thought was amazing. But yeah, this was a good end fight. Disappointed it wasn't Xeno, but you know, it doesn't take away from the fact that this fight was great.
Hey, bruh? Yeah?
The endings. Whew. The emotion I felt with getting the most disappointing ending in this game was crazy. During the final stages of the game, you have two endings. You can either destroy Elpis, or you can release Elpis. I'll let my past self display my emotions if you choose to destroy Elpis.
At least I could save you.
No! Are you fucking kidding me? Oh my god! No! The ending was cool. It was really sad, but I like the fact that Leon sacrifices himself for Grace. But now Grace is stuck with the burden of killing Leon, technically, because she made the wrong choice. But she also did it under his promise, so you can't really blame her. And after seeing her escape alone in the helicopter, I was like, damn, she must be feeling like shit. The true ending to the game, aka the good ending, is releasing Elpis. Grace tricks Xeno into stabbing himself with it, injecting it, but it actually turns out it's a cure, which causes Xeno's powers to just fucking evaporate. Then comes in Victor Gideon, looking beat up after falling off a freeway. He then just decapitates Xeno, and is like, oh, okay, so you're the true final boss. See, that's what I didn't like. I didn't like that they just threw Xeno away like that, but whatever, it's fine. Grace then injects Leon with Elpis, causing his infection to go away, finally revealing that Victor Gideon was the final boss this whole time. After you defeat Victor, honestly, it's a really sad moment, as both Leon and Grace give up, as all the lights around them start to turn off, and you could tell that they're ready to accept their fate. Just as hope is fading away, in comes Chris Redfield's squad! They rescue both Leon and Grace, and the truth behind what Umbrella had under Raccoon City reveals itself to the world. News stations broadcast everything, and Leon and Grace have a happy ending. Or so you thought, because it shows soldiers grabbing something off screen after eliminating Chris's men, so we don't really know what happens after that. But nice cliffhanger, and it sets up for the next game nicely. There is a post-credit scene showing Grace back at her FBI job. She's talking to Leon on the phone, and it's a nice, sweet little conversation. And it is revealed that Emily lives, and that she is now with Grace, which I thought was a pretty happy ending, in my opinion. Overall, these endings were great. Really emotional one if you choose to destroy Elpis. Like, I mean, if you don't take the hints like I did and just did it because Leon told you to, you pay for it, basically. But the other one was sweet, and I thought the ending to the game was really well done. How was the story, you might ask? Well, I thought it was pretty good. I like how Leon's infection is really, like, a big factor here. Because later on in the game, he starts to get, like, blurry vision and struggles to aim. And you can see it's really consuming him. Also, how Grace's, like, her fear really affects what she does in the story. I feel they both tie in with each other perfectly. There's no overlapping. There's no unnecessary banter. I just thought it was pretty cool. Yes, there were some, like, flashback scenes, which I thought were not that necessary, but it was still cool to see. Looking back on it, I don't think the game needed a whole like flashback section at the orphanage. They could have just left a note or like a video real quick, but it didn't take away from the experience, in my opinion. I thought all the characters were cool too. Seeing Sherry again was nice. You know, Victor was an awesome antagonist as well. Xeno was like a fucking fake, but we'll get to that in the what I don't like section. Seeing returning characters was cool too. Like I said, Sherry was back. Leon, obviously. Alyssa Ashcroft was cool, and Hunk was also rumored he might be the commander. But yeah, the story tied in nicely, other than those like little parts that I mentioned. But it was good, really good. What I liked most about the game was honestly everything. The weapon system was cool, the characters were cool, the locations were amazing, the sound design, everything, really, everything was great. What I didn't like, honestly, when Grace left Leon after the water plant area, I thought that was kind of stupid, but it didn't really hurt her. I just thought it was annoying. And then that Xeno was built to this, wow, this is the bad guy, you know, final boss. He has Wesker abilities. And then he just dies. Like, okay. I thought that was pretty stupid and a waste of a character. That's like my only gripe with this. That Xeno just, you know, dies. No use at all. My final opinion, the game is amazing. I mentioned it at the beginning. Go buy it. It's a hell of a playthrough. You'll have a blast playing it. Even if you're not a Resident Evil fan, I feel you'll have a great time playing this game. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, I give it a 9 out of 10. I highly recommend it if you haven't played it yet. But anyways, this has been Ryan Chunk. Follow me on Twitch. Games I review, I play there first. So if you want to get a sneak peek of what I think about the game before I make a video on it, feel free to follow me. And yeah, this has been Ryan. I'll talk to you guys later.